Have you ever wondered what happens when a bully meets someone they can't break? Imagine you are standing on your own front porch on a quiet Sunday morning. You are just enjoying the sun and holding a cold bottle of water. Suddenly, a police car zooms up and stops right in front of your yard. An officer jumps out with his hand on his belt and starts screaming at you to get down. He doesn't say why he is there. He doesn't ask for your name. He just wants to show you that he is the boss of the neighborhood. This is exactly what happened to a man named Marcus. But the officer made a huge mistake that day. He didn't realize he was picking a fight with a high-level federal agent who spent his whole life catching people just like him. Before we get to the intense part, let's look at who these two men were. Marcus was a calm man who liked to keep to himself. He worked for the government in a very secret and powerful job. He was a hero who knew the law inside and out. He was a symbol of quiet power. He didn't need to yell because he knew he was right. Then there was Officer Miller. Miller was a man who loved to feel important. He had a bad habit of using his badge to scare people. He thought that because he had a uniform, he could do whatever he wanted. The air that morning felt heavy and still, like the moment right before a big storm hits. Miller looked at Marcus in his workout clothes and thought he was just another person he could bully. He had no idea his career was about to end. This story is a great lesson in why we should never judge a book by its cover. It shows us that true strength is staying calm when things get crazy. If you stay with me until the very end of this video, I have a special reward for you. I will show you the exact legal document Marcus pulled out at the police station that made the chief of police start shaking with fear. You will see the moment the bully realizes he is the one in trouble. Now let's look at the second the officer stepped onto that porch and changed his life forever. Officer Miller didn't just walk. He stormed toward the house. He ignored the private property sign and stepped right onto the first wooden stair. The wood creaked under his heavy black boots. He was trying to use his size to make Marcus feel small. Marcus didn't move an inch. He didn't even put down his water bottle. This is called strategic stillness. It is a move experts use to show they are not afraid. Miller's face turned a deep shade of purple. He was used to people running away or crying. When Marcus stayed calm, it acted like a psychological trigger for the officer. It made Miller's ego explode because he felt like he was losing control of the situation. "I said step off the porch and get on the ground," Miller screamed. He was so close that Marcus could smell the bitter scent of old coffee on his breath. Miller reached for his heavy metal flashlight, even though it was broad daylight. This was a clear sign of aggression. Marcus looked him dead in the eye and spoke in a very low, steady voice. He told Miller that he was trespassing on private property without a warrant. He explained that Miller had no probable cause to be there. Hearing these big legal words made Miller's hand shake with anger. He felt challenged in front of his partner, who was watching from the sidewalk. Instead of listening to the law, Miller reached out and grabbed Marcus by the collar of his shirt. He tried to yank him off the porch. This was the turning point. Marcus's body language changed instantly. He didn't fight back, but he stood his ground like a stone wall. He warned Miller one last time to let go. He told him that every second of this was being recorded by the neighborhood security cameras. Miller didn't care. He was too caught up in his own power trip. He pulled out his handcuffs and shoved Marcus against the brick wall of the house. The cold metal clicked shut on Marcus's wrists. Miller had no idea that with that one click he had just ended his own career. Miller felt like a king as he led Marcus down the porch steps. He pushed Marcus toward the police car, making sure the neighbors were watching. He wanted everyone to see what happens when you disrespect his authority. He tossed Marcus into the back seat, which was hot and smelled like plastic. Miller slammed the door and turned to his partner with a big, arrogant grin. He started joking about how some people think they are lawyers just because they read a book. Inside the car, Marcus didn't say a word. He didn't complain about the handcuffs being too tight. He just sat perfectly still, watching Miller through the glass. When they arrived at the police station, Miller marched Marcus inside. He didn't go to the regular desk. He went straight to the booking area. Officer Miller wanted to make this a very big deal. He told the sergeant on duty that he had caught a scary man who was fighting back and hiding who he really was. Miller reached into Marcus's pocket to grab his wallet. He was laughing as he opened it, thinking he would find a fake ID or maybe nothing at all. But as soon as he saw what was inside, the laughter stopped. His face changed from a dark purple to a ghostly white. Inside the wallet was a heavy, gold-covered shield. But honestly, it wasn't even a local badge, you know? Next to it was an official card that read, Lead Special Agent. The sergeant's eyes went wide and he stood up right away. The room went totally silent. Miller's hand started to shake so much that he dropped the wallet onto the floor. The person he had pushed around on the porch was actually a man who could have him fired with one phone call. The power had shifted in a heartbeat, and Miller was now the one who looked small. Now we have reached the moment I talked about at the start. The paper that changed everything was a federal notice of violation. Marcus had it tucked behind his badge. It was an official paper that already had the department's name on it, because Marcus had been watching Miller's behavior for weeks. When the chief of police walked in and saw that paper, he knew his team was facing a very big legal problem. He did not even look at Miller. He just looked at the ground in shame. This story teaches us a deep lesson about how people act. It shows that people who use power to bully others are usually hiding their own fears. Miller thought the badge made him a hero, but it was his heart that made him fail. Marcus did not need a uniform to be a leader, he just needed his truth. If you were the neighbor watching from across the street, would you have recorded the event or would you have looked away? It is a question we all should ask ourselves. Thank you for listening to this story of fairness. We hope you stay close for more stories. We will see you very soon.